You know when a celebrity suddenly says something that shakes the whole internet? Yeah, that just happened. Picture this. George Clooney, Hollywood's golden man, the suave star who never breaks a sweat, sitting there, calm as ever, and saying, making Kamala Harris the nominee was a mistake. I mean, excuse me? Did he really just say that out loud? The guy who's been to White House dinners, hosted Democratic fundraisers, and basically been Hollywood's unofficial ambassador to Washington, suddenly questioning the very choice his side made. That's not a casual opinion. That's a bombshell with aftershocks. And it's got everyone, from journalists to late-night hosts, trying to figure out what exactly Clooney meant. Was it frustration, realism, or something deeper? Because this isn't just movie gossip. This is political drama with A-list energy. George Clooney has always been more than a movie star. He's been a political voice, an activist, a fundraiser. He's that guy who can raise a few million for a cause just by sending a few texts. Back in July 2024, Clooney made headlines with a New York Times op-ed titled, "I love Joe Biden, but we need a new nominee." It wasn't a whisper. It was a megaphone moment. He said President Biden was a good man, a true leader, but maybe, just maybe, it was time to step aside. That article hit like a lightning bolt. And not long after, Biden did step down, which opened the door wide for Kamala Harris. Suddenly, the person who'd been the loyal VP was the party's next hope. Fast forward a few months, and now Clooney, the very same man whose essay helped push this transition, says out loud that choosing Kamala might have been the wrong move. You see why people are losing their minds over this? The first signs of tension came right after that op-ed. People weren't sure what Clooney's angle was. Some called him brave. Others said he was a traitor to his party. Social media was basically a cage match. You had one side praising him for telling it like it is, and the other accusing him of handing ammunition to the opposition. And just weeks before that article, Clooney had hosted a huge fundraiser for Biden, one of those glittering Hollywood nights where everyone from Spielberg to Obama shows up. Then he tells The Guardian later that the Joe Biden he saw at that event wasn't the same man he'd known years before. Oof. Imagine being the president reading that. That's not a casual comment. That's a celebrity using his megaphone to tell America, I've seen behind the curtain, and it's not good. From there, the internet started spinning theories. Was Clooney acting alone, or representing a growing sense of unease among Hollywood's elite donors? Either way, the story had legs, and those legs ran fast. Then came the real kicker. The interview where Clooney said, clear as day, the mistake with Kamala was that she had to run against her own record. Simple sentence, devastating meaning. He wasn't saying she's unqualified. He was saying the campaign strategy boxed her in, that she couldn't reinvent herself without contradicting her past. Think about that. Running for president while trying to distance yourself from your own political history? That's like starring in a sequel and pretending the first movie didn't exist. And Clooney's tone wasn't angry. It was disappointed, almost weary, like a director watching a great script go off the rails. That was the breaking point. Suddenly, this wasn't about Clooney the movie star or even Clooney the donor. It was Clooney the insider saying, we picked wrong. And once he said that, the floodgates opened. Political analysts, news anchors, even TikTok creators jumped in. Was George Clooney right? Was Kamala Harris the wrong choice? Or did she just get sabotaged by timing and perception? Once those words left Clooney's mouth, the reaction was nuclear. Online, it was chaos. Some fans called him brutally honest. Others said he'd crossed a line. Hunter Biden himself fired back, calling Clooney's earlier op-ed outright lies. And Clooney? He didn't even flinch. He told reporters he stood by every word, no regrets. But for Kamala Harris, that statement landed like a ton of bricks. It wasn't just criticism, it was a headline from a Hollywood legend echoing across every media outlet. And when you're in the middle of a tough campaign, the last thing you need is George Clooney telling the world your candidacy was a mistake. Her supporters rallied, her detractors cheered, and the party went quiet. It felt like the family fight that everyone pretends isn't happening, even though you can hear it from the next room. And through it all, Clooney stayed calm, not defensive, not apologetic, just factual, which made it sting even more. But let's step back for a second. This story isn't just about Clooney or Harris. It's about something bigger. It's about what happens when celebrity, politics, and power blur into one messy mix. We live in a world where a movie star can influence the national conversation more than a senator can. Clooney knew that. He's been around politics long enough to understand how loud his voice echoes. And when he said the nomination was a mistake, it wasn't just gossip. It was a reflection of a deeper debate within the Democratic Party. Was the process fair? Was it rushed? Did voters get a real choice? And underneath all that is the human story. Kamala Harris, breaking barriers, facing impossible expectations, and still having to battle friendly fire from her own side. Clooney's truth might have been honest, but it also exposed a brutal reality. In politics, even your allies can become your critics if they think the ship is sinking. So here we are still talking about George Clooney, not his movies, but his political opinions. He says he was raised to tell the truth, even when it hurts. Maybe he's right. Maybe he's just brutally honest. Or maybe he underestimated how his words could ripple through a fragile political moment. Either way, the damage, or the awakening, depending on your side, is done. The line's been drawn. Kamala Harris continues to defend her record. Clooney continues to stand by his statement. And the rest of us, we're left watching the drama unfold like it's the next big Netflix documentary. Imagine being in their shoes, the VP turned nominee fighting uphill, and the Hollywood icon turned critic watching from the sidelines. So what do you think? Was Clooney right to say it out loud? Or did he just throw gasoline on an already burning fire? One thing's for sure, this isn't the last time Hollywood will mix with politics, but rarely does it get this raw, this personal, and this dramatic. And honestly, admit it, you can't look away.